Welcome to the John Shippen. For the fourth consecutive year, the John Shippen National Invitational consists of 3 golf tournaments for top amateur and professional black golfers and creates access and opportunities by identifying historical barriers. Winners of the 2 women's events receive exemptions into 3 LPGA tournaments, while the winner of the men's event earns a spot in the PGA Tour's Rocket Mortgage Classic.
Chase Johnson, the first time a winner of the Shippen has made the cut at the Rocket Mortgage Classic.
To win an event that puts me in an LPGA event, all the work that we've put in was finally paying off.
It's just great to see all the hard work that I've put into my game, to be able to showcase it now when it mattered, and to finally finish it off. This was that finally moment.
I think events like this really prepare our future students and future employees for the world that's in front of them.
You are what's supposed to be. This is something that was meant for you, and you wouldn't have been in the room if you didn't have that ability to carry this shit.
I'm here with Troy Taylor II, who just finished his 2024 season. Troy, how'd it feel?
It feels great. It was nice to kind of break through for once and see all my hard work throughout this past year kind of come to light. It was a little bit of a burden off of me, so it was just nice to get it done. And there's so many good players out there, so it definitely gave me some confidence going into 2025. Just that I'm working on the right thing. So I'm just kind of looking forward to the next couple months here, and then get ready for next season.
So we'll get into it, but you're about 14 months or so as a pro. You turned pro, is it August 23? Is that right? What's the last 12, 14 months been like for you?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster for sure. I came out, kind of didn't know what to expect, and played some good golf. And as I started to adapt to the professional golf and see that I could play, start having a little bit more expectations on myself to kind of break through. And I was always in contention, it felt like, and just started putting pressure on myself. And I think last winter, my first off-season winter as a pro, I kind of went a little into a black hole a little bit, trying to fix too many things, trying to feel like I need to elevate my game. And I kind of just got to the understanding that my game's good enough. Just I need to keep polishing on things and keep making my strengths even better, and just kind of focus on the positive. So it was all up and down. I was in a bad mental place. I got a mental coach that helped a lot, just working on the mental side, because everybody at this level is really talented and hits the ball so solidly. I feel like the mental side is what separates your really good players versus your just average pros. So I kind of focused in on that a little bit more, and just focused on my process and try not to be too results focused. And it just started kind of just going in the right direction and snowballing. So learned a lot in the past 14 months. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Just trying to keep progressing, or trying to keep progressing in my game, and just try to make it to the highest level here as soon as possible. But just trying to stay where my feet are and just make the best of the day.
That's awesome. He did that. Aaron Rodgers went into a little bit of darkness for a month or so in the off season, try to find his game and make his next move. I love that. So is this, talking about your golf journey, was this always the goal for you to start and become a professional, or talk about your journey and getting here to this moment now?
Yeah. So my parents gave me a club when I was 2 years old, a little plastic club. And my dad played basketball at Ohio State, and just like most athletes, they kind of gravitate over to golf. So he just gave me a tiny little club, and I was beating that around, and I put a hole in it eventually. So they're like, all right, let's get him a real club. And it eventually just started off as father bonding time with me and my dad, and my mom actually played just a little bit. So we would just go out there, have some fun, and that kind of just progressed. And it was my first love because I was the first thing. My dad wanted me to play basketball, so he kind of tried to help hold me out on that so I didn't get burnt out. But golf was just my first love, and I started playing basketball when I was organized basketball when I was in third grade. Kind of got better at basketball, and my dad actually at the time thought I was better at basketball than I was at golf. But I remember telling him in seventh grade, I was like, "Hey, I really don't like this basketball thing that much. I really like to play, but I don't like to practice. And golf, I feel, is like my passion." So we continued on that journey, and he, being a high level athlete, kept me very focused and present. I feel like kids get a little too far ahead of themselves sometimes and look too far out. And he kept me very present of trying to focus on, trying to make my high school team. And then am I going to be good enough, try to get a scholarship in the college? And then, college, will I be good enough to turn pro? So he kept me very present. But I would say when I was probably 15 years old, I was like, this is what I would want to do if, things progress in the right direction. And God willing lets me, try to chase my dream for this. If it's possible, that's something I would really like to do. So it just kind of progressed from there. And I got to college and really just knew I was in love with the game. I love hitting balls. I love practicing. I can practice all day. And that's when I knew that because I love what I do, that I can probably play at a professional level because there's so much highs and lows, and then you really have to love the game. So it was a nice journey for me just to kind of figure out, what's my true calling and trust myself. So it's been a good journey so far.
How did y'all navigate the early years? Especially your junior career. I know you said your dad kind of had a goal for you to navigate or to make your high school team, but even just, he's a high level, collegiate basketball player, and your mom played a little bit of golf, but it doesn't sound like y'all were the most familiar with the ins and out of like junior golf and grassroots golf specifically. So how did you guys navigate that as a family to know what steps to take to ultimately get to make your high school team or to get to the college level?
Yeah, it was interesting for sure because not too many people that we knew had kids playing golf or in popular spots of golf holes in Ohio, the suburbs around Columbus. So it was kind of just when I would go play in like little U.S. kids events. I mean, that was kind of the starting point, but trying to branch off, get into like middle school and high school golf, trying to figure out what stuff to play in. Obviously, you hear about AJGAs all the time, but trying to like work my way up to that level. And luckily I was really good at a young age. So there were some college coaches in the area like Ohio State, Miami of Ohio. They would come out and watch me, and my parents would ask, like, what does he need to play in? And I think the best advice that we ever got was I need to play in tournaments where I know I'm going to win. I'm going to play in tournaments where there's about 8 to 10 other guys that I feel like I should win, but I still have to beat those guys. And then I should play in events where I have no shot of winning. So at that time, that's trying to get into high level AJGA and just trying to practice winning, because the sport is a game where you're going to lose a lot. So if you can practice winning and knowing that you can do it, that it's going to give you all the success. So that was kind of the best advice. And then also just meeting guys at tournaments and making friends and asking them, their playing schedule. And also, then I wasn't a huge junior golf scoreboard watcher, like the rankings thing, but started to kind of figure that out. So, you could click on guys' names that were really good players and kind of see their track history of what tournaments they were playing in to get points. So it was all over the place, but I have to give a shout out to Andrew Walker, who also played in the John Shippen. His dad helped us out a lot. We were still kind of blind in junior golf. I played in some of the stuff that I knew I should, but Andrew, being a super high level junior golfer, kind of took me underneath their wing and kind of helped me guide me in the right direction of the stuff I needed to play to get my rankings up. So it's a lot, but I try to just tell people, when you play good golf, coaches will find you. And you're going to, find the place that you're supposed to be. But, U.S. Kids was a great starting point for me, and it kind of just went off of that.
That's awesome. Look at the Spartans, but they didn't even know before they were college teammates, already helping each other out. That Spartan connection. Am I right?
Yep.
So curious if your parents or anyone ever kind of, sat you down, you're a young black man from Ohio and playing this sport. Did anyone ever talk to you about like some of the difficulties you might face or what was upcoming, or when did you kind of have those conversations if you had those conversations?
Yeah, we really didn't have those conversations. I think it was just kind of obvious. When you walk into a room, people are staring at you. I got it from a young age. You could just tell something was off. And I was very understanding that this is a white man's game for the most part. We're trying to get more minorities into it, but historically it is a, white man's game, and there's not too many people of color in it. So I knew when I'd show up to golf tournaments, as a young kid, you don't process everything, but you can definitely tell people are looking at you a little longer, and you don't see anybody that looks like you. So it was fine. Didn't really have any issues with that. I'm an easygoing guy. I like talking to people. So I think once people, put down their guards of, why are you here? And they saw how good I was. I mean, it was fine. But, I would hope, it doesn't have to come to the point of me being a good player to have somebody put their guard down. You should just accept everybody for how they look. So we didn't have those conversations and didn't really run into anything in junior golf. And actually, my first incident was in college with Andrew. My first college event, we were playing at Windsong Farms in Minnesota's event. And first event as a college golfer, I know a pretty good amount of guys there just from junior golf or just playing against them in AJGA. So I was having a good time, and we were on the practice green, and a kid from Washington, called us a racial slur, me and Andrew. And I think that was kind of the first time, a lot of people look at you weird, but this day and age, you don't really say anything out loud. And that was kind of a smack in the face a little bit. It fueled me because I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna, I can't go do anything about it, but I can let my clubs do the talking. And I played really well that week, but it was definitely very sad that you got to run into that. Playing at a Power Five and having two African American guys on the team is not heard of. I don't think. I think that's probably the first and only time two African American guys have been on a Power Five golf team and playing in the lineup. So uh, it was tough, but it was nice to have Andrew to lean on in that situation and have somebody to talk to, because it's hard. Like people can't relate to that. Your normal golfer does not have those issues of walking to a country club and people staring at you a little longer. Just trying to figure out why are you there. The amount of people that ask me if I was Andrew's brother just watching, I'm like, no, I'm here to win the golf tournament as well. So um, it was tough, but it was nice to have a brother to lean on and go through those trials and tribulations together. It definitely helped, because if I was trying to do that and navigate that by myself, it definitely would have been a lot harder.
Appreciate you sharing that, man. It's almost like I'm Troy Taylor the second. Y'all don't know me? Like Google me, like that Indiana coach said. Like I'm here to win, and I do win. So check my stats. Talk a little bit about Michigan State. How was the process to get there? What did you like most, and what were some of your highlights from your time in East Lansing?
Yeah, so my recruiting was definitely a little bit different than, I would say your normal kid. I feel like a lot of parents do talking now for their kids and reach out to coaches and emails. And my parents stayed out of it. My dad stayed out of it. I called every coach. I didn't really email. I kind of went a little bit old school. I have an old soul. I'm not too hip on the technology stuff. I'd rather talk to you. So I called every coach that I was interested in the schools and tried to build a relationship with them that way, because at the end of the day, when you get to campus, the coach has a relationship with you, not your parents. So I also had to feel them out as well. So um, got recruited by Ohio State, USF a little bit later, and all the schools in Ohio, Kent State, Xavier. Good golf programs, but I was kind of had my heart set on Ohio State with being a Buckeye, and um, met Andrew Walker at the Bill Dickey Invitational. I believe that was probably 2014. Wow, that was 10 years ago. Wow, that's crazy. Seems like that was the other day, but met him there, and super accomplished golfer, youngest African American to make the USAM, beat Tiger Woods out. Like, knew who he was, and our friendship clicked from there. That was the first or second time I met him, and Mr. Walker. I give all the credit to them. I want to be in the position that I am today. Called the head coach there at Michigan State, said, hey, like, you need to watch this kid. And if it wasn't for him, Michigan State would not probably been on my radar, and I would definitely probably wouldn't have been on their radar. So he made the call, and Definitely my talent and I think who I am as a person sold the deal, but he opened up the door for me, and I'm always going to be grateful for them. And that's kind of how I got in there. So um, took a visit there, knew it was home. It took me 2 years still to commit because Ohio State was still where I wanted to go. But Michigan State felt like home. The coaches were great, facilities were great, but everybody just treated you like family there, no matter if you were a five-star football player, you were a golfer. Like nobody really cared. Everybody was super down to earth. And I got there and had a good junior career. I believe I got to the top 10 in the country before I got to school, and was playing really good. Got there. What I said, wasn't a ranking guy, but coach was always watching. So played really good, and I always played good in the AJGA. Solomon was running. I never won, but I was always in the top five, top three. So Solomon was a nice person to see at the tournament. So I always played good there. So yeah, I went to school and definitely struggled a lot. Was not what I was expecting or kind of on the trajectory that I was supposed to be. Look, coming out of junior golf and playing with the best players in the country that are now playing on the PGA Tour. So I was not playing well at the time. I definitely hit rock bottom with golf around 2020, right before COVID happened. Wasn't enjoying it anymore, was super mad about things that were happening. I think I just kind of got too far ahead of myself trying to be a professional instead of just being where my feet were. And I had to learn a lot about myself. That was probably the worst I've ever been mentally about golf. And I had to really dig deep and figure out, is this something that you want to do? And are you a fighter that, you can battle out these bad rounds and still play? And those are the things that I hold with me forever. Is I battled through it. I had terrible golf, but I always played. I never missed an event at Michigan State. I played every event. So I pride myself on that with, all the things that I was going through. And, it really helped me become a better person, made me grow up a little bit more and, just try to figure out. And I feel like I went there and I was super immature. Had a good time, didn't know how to practice, didn't know how to carry myself, didn't do little things correctly. Everything that my coach would harp on me about. And at the time, as an 18-year-old, I didn't know what that meant. Like, why is me, being organized outside the golf courses? How's that going to make me shoot a 68? But just learning those things as I got older and kind of adapting and putting those things into play and focusing on that small stuff in the process. It really helped me out at the end of my career where I started playing a little bit better my senior year. Before my COVID year, I finally got my first win in college, and that definitely gave me some confidence. And that summer, it kind of led into me playing really good going into my COVID year of my senior year or my fifth year. Making it to the USAM was a huge accomplishment for me. It was something I always wanted to do and play at one of the highest levels of amateur golf. And I played in all the Elite Am Series stuff. So just getting to play against the best players in the country at that point in time, I just knew I was kind of on the right track. And went back to school the last year, and same thing, didn't maybe play as good as I wanted to, but I was really just trying to soak it all in. But I feel like college golf in a whole taught me so much that I wish, everybody, well, not wish, I just hope everybody gets something out of it that does play college golf like that, because this professional golf thing's a struggle. College golf, you don't pay for your meals, you don't pay for your flights, you just show up, you tee it in the ground, and you try to shoot as low as you can, and at the end of the day, it's gonna be okay. And professional golf, you got to pay for everything, and it's a lot more stressful. So the fact that I hit rock bottom in college, learned how to fight through everything that I was going to go through, and just kind of prepare me for life afterwards. If golf, for some reason didn't work out, it just really prepared me for life, because you're going to have highs and lows in life. So super grateful to Michigan State. Took a Columbus kid and kind of made him a Michiganer. So super thankful for the coaching staff there and everyone there to bring me up there.
That's what's up, man. I mean, it's crazy to hear that you hit rock bottom, but your floor is still being able to make the starting five every week, which is impressive, because, most people hear rock bottom. It's like, I'm not playing the spring season. I'm having a red shirt. I'm having to do this. So the standard I know you have for yourself, but your floor is still, I'm still playing. I'm just not playing as good as I want to. And some people, when they think rock bottom or they're hearing this, just so everyone knows, Troy still played every event, like he said, and then he finished number one in the APJ collegiate rankings. So it just shows you what an accomplished player he is, and just how high of a standard he has for himself. And I think the articulated that was so powerful and really, really good for our audience to hear your snapshot of your journey and, the highs and lows, which is exactly how a round of golf, how a golf career goes. So kudos to you, man, and glad you've kind of coming out on the other side with still your brightest stuff ahead. So I want to talk a little bit more about, your first year as a professional. Something you talked about at the beginning was the mental coach and kind of really improving on that side of things. How did you figure out that you needed that, and what was the process to get there? And talk a little bit more about why that was so key to your success ultimately getting your first win last week.
Yeah, so it kind of went back to college. Before I won my first college event, I kind of tapped into the mental thing. Still wasn't, too being immature, young dude. I'm like, nah, my mental's fine. Don't need to listen to anybody. So, talked to somebody, and actually, literally the next week I won. And once again, as a young guy, I'm like, oh, I got this figured out. No biggie. I don't really need to talk to him anymore. I got it figured out, and it was fine. I still leaned on the things that he said, and my former teammate James Pyatt, who won the USAM in 2021, he turned pro. He was a year older than me, so talking to him and just seeing the things that are different from college golf, and how lonely it is, how hard it is on your mental. It's either you're putting food on the plate technically, or you're not. Like, you're either making money or not. There's not. It's obviously so pride with playing with professional golf, but there's a lot of funds that go into it. So. Um, Kind of heard from him, still didn't dabble into it too much. And I have a great team around me. My agents, Fairway Management, they're super good, and they're with a lot of high level golfers throughout, their track history. And she knows what it takes to be the best and try to be the best player that she can possibly be. And she was always harping on me. She's kind of the second mom in my life, so she's telling me like, Troy, you need to get your mental right. And I finally bid on it, and Chase Johnson was a huge help. I was just super, grateful that I had a nice village of guys around me, or people. Chase is a competitor. He wants to beat me. He's a great player, but the fact that he saw something in me and wanted to help me out. So he actually, gave me the contact of his guy that he started working with. His name's Tim Hall. And I just kind of took a leap of faith. I'm like, what, let's try it. And I didn't, really think it was going to help me at the time, because, his biggest thing is journaling. And I do hear it a lot. A lot of successful people journal, write their stuff down and their thoughts and get in a positive mindset. But I remember on the call, that was like the first thing he said, that's non-negotiable. Like, you got to journal. And I was like, maybe not. This is not maybe for me, but, I went ahead with it. And looking back at it, it was just trying to get myself in a positive mindset. I feel like your biggest person that you try to fight is yourself. You're always doubting yourself. And that's in golf, life, whatever, that's your biggest critic is yourself. So, it's okay to be your biggest cheerleader and pat yourself on the back, and, think about the positive things that you're doing well, no matter what you're doing. So I think that was kind of the biggest turning point is, just trying to be nice to myself, and, realizing that, I'm bigger than golf. I feel like that was kind of the biggest thing for me is I always thought my score reflected who I am as a person. And that's completely not true. If I shot a 68, I felt great. I felt like people were going to like me. And if I shot a 77, like, people aren't going to like me. So kind of getting over that barrier. No matter what I shoot, I'm still Troy when I'm done and I sign my scorecard and I walk out of the tent. That helped me so much. And, just kind of trying to figure out who is Troy, what makes Troy tick, what makes Troy the best version of himself. And it's been super, super helpful. So, and I mean, you hear it a lot. I've been watching a lot of podcasts and stuff. And Rory talks about it. Scotty Scheffler talks about it. Those are really the best players in the world right there. And if those guys are harping on mental stuff, and they're super talented, but they're really focused on mental things, why shouldn't I be if I want to get to that level? So I think that was some eye-opening stuff too. Just kind of just trying to be a little bit more mature and be a little bit more tapped in with myself, and super super happy with the strides that I made from a year ago. It's been a night and day. I feel like a different person when I talk to people. I don't feel it because now it's kind of a thing, but people can kind of just tell I'm in a lot different headspace. And it's nice to see that, just trying to take that leap of faith and doing tiny things and, be the best is kind of helping me out. So, it's about sacrificing, and are you willing to do the tiny things? And for me, that was a tiny thing that I didn't think was big, but it definitely did have some big things. So, mental health is very important, as we've seen with a lot of athletes and Olympic athletes at the highest level. So, taking care of yourself and your mental is just as important as taking care of your body and physical.
That's what's up, man. And was with Coach Perger the other week, and he talked a lot about the same thing. And Greg Odom situated with someone, and how that's made such a difference as he started his career. And kudos to you for that development. And obviously, it's paid dividends. Not only recognizing it internally, but on the golf course, which we're really really proud and excited for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about the John Shippen, an event you've played pretty well in your numerous starts here, second place a couple of years ago. Talk about what the John Shippen means to you, and what do you like most about the event and playing in the event.
Yeah, John Shippen is awesome. I remember first hearing about it in college, and hearing that we're going to have an event in Detroit, and being kind of an adopted Michigan person, I was like, oh, that's really cool. And didn't really understand too much at the beginning what John Shippen really stood for. I just being a college guy, I was like, oh, this is a cool tournament, maybe get a sponsors exemption. But um, as the tournament progressed and I did more research on it, it was way bigger than the golf tournament for me. I think it's cool that we get a sponsor exemption if you want and get to play in a PGA Tour event. But for me, John Shippen, he opened up doors for so many, and I think it's obviously a lost thought that people don't really give him his flowers that he should. He first American born golfer, first African American golfer, to play in a U.S. Open, and all the things that he did to pioneer the game, just not for, I guess, American, just not American golfers, but for African American golfers. It was super special to be a part of something and continue somebody's legacy. That's legacy should be carried on. And for me, it's just playing for bigger something than myself. And I love that. That's why I loved college golf. I loved playing in Folds of Honors events, because it's something bigger than yourself. It's nice to put on a show, and there are dividends for it, and nice things that come with winning. But it's just nice to be a part of something. So again, to be a part of the first one was super, super special. And then just kind of continuing and seeing how the John Shippen has grown, and super special. And shout out to Rocket Mortgage and Intersport, for doing the way, and shout out Summer Woods. She's awesome, great. And it's the best event that I play all year. You get to play in a tour event or a tour course. Ropes are up, grandstands are up, and for me, just not alone for playing for John Shippen, it gets my blood boiling. Like, I want to be out there. I love the lights, and it's just kind of an extra motivating factor. But it's also nice to touch your game on a PGA Tour golf course. So everything that John Shippen stands for, from the part of helping out in the community and helping out scholarships for young people in the community that aren't playing golf, and trying to help us, network and figure out things, and then to the professional golfers that get the benefit from it and give us a platform. It's second to none, and it's my favorite event that I can play.
Man, couldn't have said it better myself. If you may not believe it, but we did not give him a script or anything like that to say. That's just real from the heart, from my man himself. So, no, appreciate that, Troy. Been, obviously known you since you've been playing AJGA events, and always a class act. Old Soul, I think, was a great way to sum it up. And just can't say it enough for not only the way you've represented the John Shippen, and how you've conducted yourself in our events, and just kudos to you and all the success you've had. And really appreciate you taking the time to chop it up with us. But I know my man got to get ready for his trip to Hawaii, because he can't make it to Bermuda. So we'll let you get out of here, and just all the best the rest of the year, and have a safe holiday season, and good luck in 25, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys for having me on, and hopefully I can get in next year and see you guys all again. It's super special. So hopefully I continue good play, and hopefully I can get back in the event. So I appreciate all you guys do for all of us, and thank you, Solomon, for always being there, literally since junior golf. So it's great talking with you.